J. This one's a lyrical photograph coming from my heart, keeping it real. A youth named John, living in the ghetto with his mum. 18 but he's still young, thinks he's someone but he's not, he's no one. Every day he'll be on the road with his gun. John was a youth that loved to get around. Anywhere we went he would stand up and frown. Anywhere there's war he would never back down. He said he did a business, he wears the crown. But this bad man Jimmy thinks that he's bad. Everyone around him says that he's mad. Raised in the ghetto, no mum, no dad. I suppose you could say that he lived his life sad. He was a youth that has very bad mind. Anywhere we went he would rob all the time. All through the day he'll be doing enough crime. He said he didn't care, it was his front line. Two big youths named Jimmy and John. Never liked each other, they never got along. They just wanted to see who was the real Don. Jimmy, was he John? They were fighting over things that was petty and silly. And I said we put down the 9 milli, who's with me? I see the youths them coming up, what's the dilly? John, was he Jimmy? It was a late night, John decided to rob a shop. Better hope said that his plan does not flop. He's going the right way of getting himself locked. If anyone sees him, they're gonna have a shock. Cause Jimmy is going the same place, cruising in his Ringer, strap on his waist. Little does he know he's gonna see a new face. He's going the right way of another beast chase. So John, he walks in the shop door, pointing his gun. Everybody's on the floor, he's a don, he's real. So open up the till, this can get ill. He don't wanna have to kill. John gets the money while Jimmy creeps in. Rush past him, sees what's happening. Jimmy sights the flex and now Jimmy's vexed. Who's he gonna kill, who's next? Cause witness is seen. Jimmy pull out his AK. John looked shocked, didn't know what to say. He looked at Jimmy, Jimmy's looking at the money. John said, yo, nobody try nothing funny. So he gone but a Jimmy, now Jimmy's mad. John thought Jimmy was a soft old lad. He shot him in his left arm and he felt glad. But little does he know that this move was bad. Two big youths named Jimmy and John. Never liked each other, they never got along. They just wanted to see who was the real Don. Jimmy, was he John? They were fighting over things that was petty and silly. And I said we put down the 9 milli, who's with me? I see the youths them coming up, what's the dilly? John, was he Jimmy? Now it's 4 weeks later in this madness. John's on road thinking everything's crisp. Got himself a new chain, chops on his wrist. But little does he know the 5 o'clock in this. His mum keeps telling him loud the badness. She doesn't want to see it end up in sadness. Thinking to herself, does it really come to this? Is this the same song what she raised into this? John thinks that his mum moans all the time. But it's not that, it's just that she's showing him a sign. Every day he gets up, he's doing his crime. And he's shot and his works up on the hot front line. He thinks that no one can tell him nothing. He thinks that his own mum is bluffing. But when Jimmy sees him, Jimmy's gonna bust him. My feds can't wait to handcuff him. So there he goes, on the front line, no doubt. He doesn't know that Jimmy is about. He sees a low BMW, Jimmy stepped out, walking over to tuck John in his mouth. But Jimmy's getting closer, the heat's in his hand. John looked shocked, John looked grand. Jimmy said to John, now who's the real Dan? And he pulled the trigger back and went bang. Two big youths named Jimmy and John. Never liked each other, they never got along. They just wanted to see who was the real Don. Jimmy, was he John? They were fighting over things that was petty and silly. And I said we put down the 9 milli, who's with me? I see the youths them coming up, what's the dilly? John, was he Jimmy? Now this is an example of what goes on. And cause of this there's no more John. In the ghetto people say Jimmy is a Don. I know this really happened so I wrote this song. But Jimmy's behind bars, he ain't got a life, no more driving cars. He pays the price, just the moon and the stars on his lonely nights. It's gonna be a long while before he sees street lights. And John's mum's left with the pain in her heart. She can't bear to think about the two of them apart. And the fact that her son got shot in the dark. Now she thinks deeper, she walks along the path. He lived 18 years, now he's off the earth. All because he tried to defend his turf. And by him doing this he made matters worse. To live a life of badness, what's it worth?